Take it. Chat, I got some beef on Twitter today. I don't know if you guys saw. I had the audacity to say that 60 FPS was the bargain basement standard for video games, and a bunch of video game developers have been like, "What? You can't expect us to make a game run at 60 FPS?" I'm like, dude, I expect it to run 120. I'm talking about the minimum. I expect 120. What kind of games? So if you haven't heard, Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights will be locked to 30 FPS. I keep on saying 60 because it's like in my brain, you don't go, nothing's lower than 60, right? That's like the bottom. It was so Gotham Knights will be locked at 30 FPS. You can't be expected to actually optimize video games. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. And there's some people online, they're such little bitches. I got blocked by one guy who was like, I don't have the brain cells to explain it to you. And I was like, dude, you don't need to have the brain cells to explain it to me. I already fucking know why the game doesn't run at 30 FPS. It doesn't look any better. And for some reason, the developers can't make it run at 60. That, to me, suggests that the developers haven't done their jobs. And everyone's always like, dude, everyone online is trying to get me to like understand and like be like, well, we can either run it at 30 FPS or we can delete loads of things from the game. What do you want to do? I was like, I don't want to do anything. I'm the consumer. Why are you telling me this? I don't care about your budget. I don't care about any of that. Absolutely wild. 30 FPS, what the fuck is this? 1998? Yeah, and people are online. That's great. People are online saying like, "Oh my god, like it's 30 FPS is fine." I'm like, literally, if you think 30 FPS input lag on controller or mouse and keyboard is fine, you don't play video games. You thought it was over, by the way, chat. It's never over. Hey, Blinks. But yeah, I got into some Twitter beef. So if you guys haven't heard, Gotham Knights locked to 30 FPS. Not ideal, one would say. Not ideal. So yeah, not all criticism is unwarranted. Let's hide Emily's camera. We don't need Emily's camera right now. What we got? That being said, there's some red flags popping up. This is a AAA DC superhero game made by a subsidiary of Warner Bros., aka a huge company. They have a lot of employees and a lot of money. You do not need to defend this game like it was made by an indie studio who got the funding for their plasma donations. It's not necessary. This game was removed from previous gens because they claim they wanted to give us the best experience. Turns out the game only runs at 30 FPS on console with no mention of a future patch. Just because games used to run at a baseline of 30 FPS does not mean you shouldn't expect the new standard of 60, especially from a company that's charging the premium $70. 70, it used to be 60, $70. That you'd expect from higher quality new-gen games. That's like saying you're totally okay with Ubisoft making a $70 game with graphics consisting solely of giant polygons just because it used to be that way back in the 90s. Warner Brothers claims it runs that slow because of the detail of the game and the untethered co-op. When there are multiple examples of untethered co-op games and/or massive and beautiful games that run at 60 FPS with no problem. I want to point out this is the first game from the new generation of consoles that's gone back down to 30 FPS. Every other game runs at 60. In fact, I have a list here. All PS4 games that run at 60 FPS on PS5. Every PS4 game that runs better on the PS5. So basically, see every single game? These all run fine. And you know what? A lot of these are still fine. A lot of these are still great. So it's embarrassing. It's humiliating for these developers. And then someone said in the r/games thread, devs confirm Gotham Knights will run at 30 FPS on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X via official Discord. And by the way, the game comes out next fucking week, by the way. Next week. So this is like, the hand is being forced. So yeah, they cancelled the last gen versions of the game. And yeah, Arkham Knight is 7 years old and looks visually superior. It's launching well. Yeah. We're actually getting a couple of codes for the game, and we're doing a sponsor stream with Alienware, and we're gonna play it on a fucking laptop. And I guarantee it will run better than consoles. I guarantee that we'll be on 60 plus FPS playing Gotham Knights on the Alienware. I'm really gonna hammer that home, by the way. Like that. This is the easiest sponsor gig I've ever had. Hey guys, you're gonna buy a PS5 or an Xbox? You could buy an Alienware laptop and run it at actual, 2022 modern FPS. Flip side of it, I'm playing Warhammer 40k Darktide. It's kind of sitting just under 60 FPS constantly, even as I adjust my settings. That said, on low, it looks better than anything else. You still look on high. Yeah, but okay, there's a difference, right? Okay, so Warhammer Darktide. Darktide, is that the first-person shooter one? But to be honest, if they would have conceded and said it's going to run at 45 FPS, 45 FPS is a good middle ground, right? Now, the reason why, I'm pretty sure, anyway, the reason why they're like locking it to 30 is because they couldn't hit 60. They probably were hitting like 40s and 50s on the new consoles, but they couldn't hit 60. And my guess is, based on the fact that the PC version of the game is capped at 360 frames per second, my guess is that basically their animations and the game's engine runs per frame rather than like actual time. So if they ran the game at 50 FPS, basically the game would break. So they're actually running everything like at 30 because they're a bunch of potatoes. So yeah, honestly, dude, it's not looking good. I am looking forward to playing it. I don't know, maybe the game will be good. But it seems like PC is the only real way to play this game right now. We got more stuff. The official account, this is on the Xbox Series X subreddit. The graphic quality isn't even that high, right? Arkham Knight looks better, and it came out like 7 years ago. Game has negative hype. Feels like Warner Brothers has been intentionally stacking the deck against the game from day one. What? Heck no. Was just thinking about picking this up on launch day. This is a deal breaker for me. And I've got like developers on Twitter like having a go at me because they're sort of like, no, 30 FPS is fine. 60 FPS is a luxury. I'm like, dude, in what fucking the Lord's year of 2022, we're saying that 60 FPS is luxury. Like I said, I expect games to run at 120. 60 is the bottom. If they get in this defense that comes across as scammy, it got leaked. The game running at 30 FPS on consoles got leaked. That's why they're announcing it a week before the game comes out. It's fucking disastrous, dude. It's pretty scummy, I'm not gonna lie. So, lol, embarrassing, 2022 on Series X and 30 FPS, laugh my ass off, hard pass. Fuck that, once you go 60 frames, you can't go back. I'm done buying games that play at 30 FPS because Red Dead 2 was the last one. I didn't even know Red Dead 2 was locked at 30 FPS. That's bad. That's bad. I mean, the people don't understand that, like if you get the solid FPS, if you run it at exactly 30 frames per second, then it's passable on consoles, right? You're sitting far away from the TV. They slam on the motion blur so that you can't tell. Especially now that we have a separation between camera movement motion blur and animation motion blur. Didn't the GameCube run at 30 FPS? It did. Was waiting for reviews. Now probably just gonna wait for sale. 30 FPS is very disappointing. Game probably has a bunch of fancy ray tracing. Every game I've played this new gen, I always disable ray tracing and it gets me to 60 FPS. I just got a 120 hertz display, and this game can't even do more than 30. Yeah, especially now that everyone's getting really high refresh rate TVs and stuff like that. This game has been in development hell, and now this. I think I should pass on this one. And so a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of the developers have been saying oh, but it's really hard. Oh my god, there's only so much we can do with the frame rate, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, I don't care. I'm not buying a game that runs at 30 FPS. I don't know how more I need to say it, that I don't care about your budget. I don't care about how hard it is. If you make a game that runs at 30 FPS, I'm just gonna skip. You can't argue me into enjoying an experience that's inherently unenjoyable. So I actually, we're going to look at more stuff. People are lambasting it on fucking Twitter. It's actually, it's going pretty poorly for these guys right now. So yeah, it makes me scared what PC optimization will look like. Also, apparently, a GTX 1660 Ti and a 9600K Intel processor is the minimum you need. That's the minimum requirements for 1080p at 60 FPS. So already the PC edition of the game requires a pretty modern CPU. Bros, you're checking every item on the shit game Dead on Arrival list. Hell, you even made it a new item, runs at 30 FPS on console. I wouldn't hold my breath just yet. The game is less than a week away from launch, and they have yet to announce the recommended specs. Only the minimum specs were announced, and the minimum specs were announced that were announced: a Ryzen 3600 and a GTX 1660 Ti. Seems very steep for a game that looks like this. This could be an unoptimized for PC mess. And honestly, I actually went online, right? This is Gotham Knights, chat. And so you're watching the stream right now at 60 FPS. I'm gonna hide chat so you guys can see. You're watching the stream at 60 FPS. I'm broadcasting it at 60, and this is the game running at. I've got it at like 1080 on here just to match up with the resolution that you guys are watching. But yeah, I don't know about you. It might look smooth on your guys' end. I don't know. Maybe. To me, it looks really janky, and when I see a game like this, I know how this feels because I've played a lot of like really unoptimized, crappy games in the past. And it just feels, the game feels sluggish, and everything feels really sort of like, how's the best way to put it? Everything just feels like with input lag on the controls, right? So, let's look at Batman Arkham Knight. This game came out 7 years ago. Now, explain to me, chat. One of you, please. One of you smart fuckers in chat. Explain to me where the other 30 FPS went. Because this game looks just as fucking good. Oh my god, chat, look at that. That's 60 FPS, baby. You can literally see the difference so badly, even on stream. Now, yeah, oh damn, that's smooth, right? This is what happens when you have a, like, and it looks just as good. Wasn't it trash on release though? PC port was trash on release. Yeah, the 30 FPS Joker stole in it, yeah. But genuinely, it's absolutely wild that they're like, oh, the game runs at the highest fidelity so that you guys, if we try to go for 60 FPS, the game wouldn't look as good. And I'm like, it doesn't look as good as the game from 7 years ago. I mean, this is on the DC verified YouTube account, and they're including, I mean, what did he hook onto at the end? So he's coming down real fast, lands, grappling hook something, I don't know, like, I don't know, man. I can see the input lag, and I can see the delay, and it's really depressing. And it doesn't look any better than this. If it looks the same. Oh, chat. My reaction when they steal my other 30 FPS. It's honestly, I've never seen a bunch of, and like, developers online are saying that gamers are entitled because they expect 60 FPS, and I'm like, dude, the ones who are entitled right now are people who think they can release a 30 FPS product for $70. The game has microtransactions, and I'm the entitled one. You're selling me a product that is expecting me to pay even more money once I buy it and runs at half the frame rate it should, and you claim it looks way better. This, by the way, this is old. Oh, God, chat, this is 7 years ago. Disgusting. Can't even look at it. This is a modern game. Really? Yeah, Okay, cool. They're clearly two different games, chat. It's a joke. It's a joke. Butter. Margarine. And it just kind of like, I don't know, got on my nerves today, Jack. It really wound me up. Got under my skin. Game developers being like, oh, you guys just don't understand. And I'm like, I don't have to. For reference, this game came out when the 1970 was the top new end card. Dude, it's insane to me that they can even make comparisons. The game looks the same. Anyway.
Fred. 60 FPS as a microtransaction nods.
Now we're talking.
I'll buy it. Well, I thought I bought 60 FPS in the macro transaction of me buying the fucking game. You know?
The macro transaction.
I bought the game. Can it work? Anyway, hello everyone. How are you all?
Will we see Flo in 30 or 60 FPS today?
Well,
Pepe
I
laugh.
have a confession, chat.
These are your confessions, yeah.
These are my confessions. For one,
Yes.
there's the birthday girl herself walking past. I also
Yes.
have to confess that because we are using a Sony camera, this is actually 50 FPS.
Not the full 60. You will be experiencing Florence in whatever the fuck frames we get, because I don't want to feed her an entire. I have concocted for Florence a tuna and salmon cake. It is a multi-layered experience. It has
Hey, Zajda.
anchovies in it. It has herring. No, it has multiple fish. It is prepared. I will be getting it out in a bit so that we can celebrate Flo. But I wanted to talk about our things of the day first.
So I've spoken about
Yes. Oh.
Gotham Knights running at Potato Frames on consoles. We will be playing it as a sponsored stream, but we're not sponsored by the game. We're actually
No.
sponsored by Alienware, playing it on a laptop that's going to run it better than your PS5 can.
Which is going to be really good because then we can actually give the game a reasonable look in some kind of decent quality. Because Fred's a big fan of the Batman games and has played all of them.
Why?
Yeah. Yes, that's what I said, Galaram. That's actually what I said. I tweeted out and said, this discourse is ridiculous and anti-consumer. Don't ask people to buy a next-gen console and then a $70 game and then call them entitled when they want that console and the AAA when they want what the console and AAA price tag promised. If you want to provide a substandard product, charge less for it. And I think that that is what it comes down to for me, is stop arguing with the consumer about what they want. There is an expectation there that you've set with the name, with the Batman brand, with the Warner Brothers brand, with the next gen console, with the price tag, and you're not fulfilling it. So shove it up your ass. Stop whining.
Shove it up your fucking ass.
It's the same as if you saw a film that you thought was really good and you went to see it and it was half a film. It's a fucking 40-minute long film that you paid. Yeah.
So yeah,
it's just stupid.
I've been getting messages from people all day. So I said some guy called Joe Hobbs, who's the lead prop artist at Ubisoft, and Ubisoft are well known for their great games. 60. He said basically everyone's being a tart. 30 FPS is fine. 60 FPS is a luxury. I said 60 FPS isn't hype. It's standard. It's not up to the consumer to worry about what it takes to get that minimum done. It's up to developers to figure out how to accomplish it. So he replies and says, "What did he say?" He said, "It's not worth my time arguing with you," or something like that. And I was like, "Fine."
And my brain cells, his brain, we're serious. We're seriously concerned for the health of his brain cells because he's apparently not ready to discuss the issue. He doesn't want to make games that are good.
So someone else comes along, and they're the lighting artist working at Studio Gobo. I've never heard of. It's not standard yet, referring to 60 FPS. Even though Gotham Knights is the only game on the PS5 that is running at 30 FPS. Every other game 60. But it's not standard yet. Apparently, I don't know. I think because Breath of the Wild, Zelda games that run on the Switch are 30 FPS, they think they can get away with it too.
It's a Switch game. Am I running this on a fucking handheld device? No.
So
shut up.
They say, I think this is, I don't know if it's they, because I don't know if it's he or she or they. Consoles aren't powerful enough because if the Xbox Series S. Because if the Xbox Series S, you have to downgrade everything. Releasing a game at 60 FPS, unfortunately, means cutting your budget in two, and it's a lot. If you want to blame someone, blame Xbox Series S, not the devs.
Charge me less then.
I said, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just not buying games that run at 30 FPS. Neither is a large portion of your end users. And then they basically, and I was like, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm de-escalating, right? I'm de-escalating. Then they said, oh, you are blaming the devs. I'd say you're even insinuating they didn't do a good job. And I had to, and that's
Dude,
like,
I never even replied.
It's petty.
I just want to say, I never even replied to that guy, and he's blocked me too.
Oh my God.
I've been blocked on the basis of being married to you.
Oh, there you go.
I didn't reply to anyone.
So I said, I haven't played Gotham Knights yet. I don't know if they did a good job. I can say that if I bought a game and it ran at 30 FPS, I'd return it.
Yeah. That's so weird. I can't believe he's blocked me.
Yeah, apparently he blocks a lot of people. Apparently,
Well, apparently he's horny for the block button. What can I say?
For him, Twitter is a echo chamber of everyone that likes him.
Well, I'm
I
a
guess.
bit confused as well because I didn't quote tweet his tweet. I quote tweeted the other guy's tweet. So I guess he saw the quote tweet of the original tweet and then blocked me on the basis of that.
I guess.
What a strange man.
Very strange man. Very strange man indeed. He's definitely one of those guys that thinks that because he works in the industry that he's like above everyone else. If you guys ever stream in any serious way, you'll come to like know that game developers really do not like you. As a streamer, game devs,
They hate
not
you.
my bros.
Because you make or break their game.
Yes.
And a lot of times you make or break their game in streamer coverage. And they don't like it that if, for example, your live streaming game or something goes wrong, they're angry because it's there for everybody to see. They can't pay for your opinion. And they also get angry if you don't cover their game.
Yeah.
So they want you to cover it, but never say anything bad. And it's like, babe, at the end of the day, I've got people watching me specifically to see if a game is good. And I will then tell